and welcome to the show. So, America is still undecided.
It looks tonight as if Joe Biden is edging ever closer to the White House.
But Donald Trump isn't going down without a fight.
He is claiming, without evidence, that the election is being stolen.
This is a fraud on the American public. This is an embarrassment to our country.
A fraud? To count ballots?
That is not what is going on.
Joe Biden has won more votes than any presidential candidate in history.
When the count is finished, we believe we will be the winners.
Will it be Grandpa Simpson on coke or Grandpa Simpson on ketamine? One thing we do know, the final week of campaigning was hilarious. Trump accused Biden of everything.
Joe Biden will shut down your economy.
Increase your taxes, ship your jobs to China, indoctrinate your children. No school, no Easters, no weddings, no 4th of July, no Christmas, no Thanksgiving, no graduations, no future,
No air conditioning,
no heating,
no electricity.
Other than that, you're gonna have a wonderful life.
So desperate. No birthdays, no rainbows, no cakes, no blowjobs. You go for Biden, he'll kill your gran and fuck your dog. He was literally begging for votes.
Can I ask you to do me a favor? Suburban women, will you please like me?
And how did that go?
He's a pig. If he walked up, he's a pig. We call it a pig.
Oh.
If he walked up to me and put his hand anywhere, he'd get knocked out.
He steps to me, he's going to A&E. She wasn't alone. Some women would rather have piles than a Trump presidency. How did they find that out? So, Donald Trump, are you a fan? I'd rather have lumps hanging out of my arsehole. Put me down as a no. Some women went further and made this video to encourage voting.
So, you really not gonna vote?
Get your booty to the pole, 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 yeah.
Did we get your attention?
Get your vote, vote.
Yeah. You got my attention. I mean, you've written vote on your ring piece. You're making it clap. Don't laugh. Apparently Boris is doing this for the lockdown. Did you see Trump's daughter? She certainly inherited his flair for talking bollocks. Look who she compared him to.
Winston Churchill said, "It was the nation that had the lion's heart. I just had the luck to give it the roar." How much does this remind you of our president and this movement?
I think my arse puts it best. Ivanka wasn't finished.
He gave us the roar. He gave us all the roar.
No. He gave you corona. Did you see how packed his rallies were? Four more years. They'll be lucky to last 4 weeks. It was so reckless. According to a Stanford report, Trump's rallies may have led to 700 COVID deaths and 30,000 extra cases. He risked their lives to talk shit. I mean, did you hear his campaign slogan? It wasn't exactly new.
It's called Make America Great Again, again.
Who was his speechwriter? Mickey Flanagan. If you have to make something great again, then you fucked up. All Trump seems to have done is call Biden names.
Joe Biden, Sleepy Joe, 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 you sleepy guy.
Why didn't Biden hit back? There's so many names he could have called Trump. The bullshit bandit. The White House what's it? The orange cunt. But Do you know what I mean? There are options. But he would never do that. Joe Biden isn't exactly dynamic. He is a 77-year-old man who gets distracted by trains.
And they move jobs overseas to sell goods back to the United States. And here comes the train that he tried to make sure didn't continue to run. No, that's the commuter. All right. No.
He's doddery as fuck. He can't even finish a thought.
COVID has taken this year, just since the outbreak, has taken more than 100 years. Look, here's the lives. When you think about it.
Christ, Obama's slogan was, yes, we can. His is, where am I? What does his arse look like? This? I mean, look at him quoting the Declaration of Independence.
We hold these truths to be self-evident. All men and women created by you know the thing.
Equal! All men and women are created equal! Fuck me! Even when he does get his words out, he gets it wrong. Listen to him talking about domestic violence.
No man has a right to raise a hand to a woman in anger other than in self-defense, and that's rarely ever occurs. And so we have to just change the culture, period, and keep punching at it and punching at it and punching at it.
We need to knock domestic violence the fuck out. And here's my Minister for Women, Johnny Depp. It was such a bleak choice for America. Let's be honest, even people who voted for Biden weren't exactly fans.
Of course you're not going to vote for Trump. However, you have this candidate that you also don't really want to vote for.
So would you say your vote is more for a vote against Donald Trump rather than for Joe Biden?
Yeah, I would say so.
He's the lesser of two evils.
I'm voting for him, sadly.
But I really, really don't want to vote for Biden. I really don't.
Voting for Biden is like taking a shit on the side of the road. You don't want to do it. You have to. Do you know what I mean? You've never seen someone in a hedge going, my choice. My will. Trump's been the most idiotic president ever. He'd be nothing without his teleprompter. See if you can spot the moment when it stopped working.
You can shoot me, but you'll have to kill us all. Something.
And when his teleprompter's off, he's got nothing.
I know words. I have the best words. Criminal. Look.
Absolutely. Puerto Rico.
We.
Take a look at the oranges of the heron.
A lot of Reverse Island.
Statistics.
Wishing you a beautiful.
Applicable. Anonymous. Really anonymous. Sologic and cephahide.
Buttigieg.
And yet, despite the fact he can't talk, Trump had the audacity to claim he'd invented a new word.
I think one of the greatest of all terms I've come up with is fake. I guess other people have used it perhaps over the years, but I've never noticed it.
I invented the word fake. I also invented the words plurp, puffin guffin, and snuggle pie. He's not just an idiot, he's also a liar. He lied about Russia, COVID, climate change. He is still claiming that Mexico is going to pay for his border wall. They aren't. He said that windmills cause cancer. They don't. I mean, Christ, listen to this madness.
When I took over our military, we didn't have ammunition.
He reckons before him, the US Army had no bullets. What were they doing in Afghanistan? Just pew, 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 pew. Watch out, it's the Air Force. Hold on to your puffin guffins, they got plurps. America is so divided, and yet Trump had the arrogance to say this.
I've done more for black Americans than anybody with the possible exception of Abraham Lincoln.
He ended slavery. You've promoted white supremacy. You've tear-gassed innocent Black Lives Matter protesters. Christ, When Colin Kaepernick took a knee to protest for black rights, Trump said this.
Get that son of a bitch off the field right now. Out. He's fired. He's fired!
And when he wasn't attacking black people, he was accusing every Muslim of being a terrorist.
Donald J. Trump is calling for a total and complete shutdown of Muslims entering the United States. They have no respect for human life.
I want surveillance of certain mosques, okay?
The only problem with that, Americans are more likely to be killed by lawnmowers than foreign terrorists. Forget mosques, he should have banned streamers. He should have built a wall around this place. He's such a bigot. In fact, the only person who reckons Trump isn't racist is his own son. And his reason why was comedy gold. Donald Trump Jr. says his father cannot be racist because he let him hang out with Michael Jackson. Hang out with or hang out of? What an excuse. How can my dad be racist? He let me hang out with Michael Jackson, Bill Cosby, R. Kelly, all the good guys. I've got to go. He's got me in art class with Rolf Harris. Now, whether you are pro-Trump or pro-Biden, one thing we can definitely say, it's been the weirdest election ever. Someone interviewed Forrest Gump.
I'll probably vote for Donald Trump. He keeps the people to the TV set.
One of Trump's fans took steroids.
Sleepy Joe about to get destroyed by the Don? By the Don? Donnie!
And some of Biden's fans made you want to rip your ears off.
Joe Biden! Yeah, yeah. Joe Biden! Biden's back, all right!
Even animals got involved. One was a Democrat. There you go, lovely stuff. And one was a Republican. Still, at least the debates were good.
I would have said sarcastic.
So here's
If Obamacare, I got rid of
President,
you would have
Mr.
been much
President,
later, Joe.
Mr.
But those states...
You're the worst president America has ever had.
Did you see the moment that Biden turned into Liam Neeson?
Well, guess what, Mr. President? I'm coming for you.
Trump reacted by wanking off some invisible man. If only there was someone around who was better than both of them.
That's what I do!
What would you give to have him again? He should be in charge. Joe Biden should be in an old folks' home, and Donald Trump should be in his garden, mowing his lawn. Join me after a break for life lessons and an amazing people's poll. Welcome back to the show. Now, it's time for life lessons, and I asked the gang to invent their very own award to give themselves.
An award I should win that doesn't exist is Most Agile Eyebrows. So some people can do just the one. I can do both. I can do both at the same time. You know? I've been checked that this award doesn't exist because I feel like I'm missing out on some silverware.
How many houseplants can a woman buy instead of dealing with her anxiety?
The No Backsliding Award, which is for people who did not reach out to exes during the pandemic.
A lot of people have this view of stand-up comedians that, like, they're bare, emotionally stunted, and they go on stage because they crave the attention. But that's not me. I'm just a normal geezer from the end. So I believe the award that I should win, based on my knowledge, is the comedian who isn't a narcissist and doesn't crave bare attention to validate his emotional well-being, who's only here to secure the bag award of the year. It's a big, long name, but I should get that award.
An award
I should win that doesn't exist is probably the fact that I've fallen down a well more times than I've been to Pizza Express. The reason being is I think the pizzas are too small.
Most consumed salmon award. It would go to me because I eat salmon literally 3 to 4 times a day. It's just something that is a part of my routine now. I get up, I have smoked salmon. I have my dinner, it's salmon fillet. On the night time, I'll have a salmon snack with some salad. Come on, I've wrote lyrics about salmon before.
I wish more television award ceremonies had a category for voiceover. It would just be me and the Come Dine With Me guy, Dave Lamb, every year. Tops off, buttered up, fighting to the death. Come Dine With Me versus Love Island. Who will triumph? It's the Federer and Nadal of men that can talk but aren't quite handsome enough to be on telly.
That's female comedian who is 5 foot and has cerebral palsy. And I should win it every single year until I die.
An award that I should win that doesn't exist is Best Gag Reflex 2020. Honestly, I'd win it. There's a microphone above me. I'd have that. One goal.
Being the most famous, unfamous comedian in the country. I sold out Wembley. The only other comedians to sell out Wembley that year was Jack Whitehall and Mickey Flanagan. And those two bastards can't go to Sainsbury's, and I can.
It's time for the People's Poll. We've gone into lockdown again, and it's fair to say it has been a great year for seeing the world. In fact, only 9% of us made holiday plans abroad this year. So I thought this week we could reminisce about the most memorable holidays we've ever had. Some of the people who replied are here right now! Who should we start with? Estelle. Hello, Estelle. Tell me about your memorable holiday.
So my memorable holiday was about, a few couple of years ago now, probably about 6-7 years ago, and I was on a family holiday.
Yes.
And I was chilling by the pool with my younger brother and my younger sister.
Mm-hmm.
We're just messing around, just like little kids do. I'm 10 years older than my brother, just to set the scene.
Okay.
And we were just trying to push each other in the pool, as you do, just be a general nightmare on holiday.
Yes.
And I found the perfect chance to push my brother into the pool. He was facing the pool, just relaxing with an ice cream. So I ran up behind him, absolutely like bangs him into the pool like this. Turns out to be just another random black kid.
Oh, that's fucking hilarious, man. Oh, I can really see that. You just like, hey, hey, and then he just comes like, you're fucking out, and you're like, okay. What did you do? How did you get out of that?
So I was 15, so I could just run off and not look like an irresponsible adult. If I did it now, it looked really bad, but at 15, you can kind of be like...
You know what you did? You're like, don't worry, I'm flirting. That's the amazing thing, just go like that.
Left it and ran off.
Oh, fuck me, that's hilarious. Jackie. Jackie, tell me about your memorable holiday.
Oh, right. Well, this is some time ago. I was in my 30s, so a long time ago.
Oh, Jackie, please. It must have been last week. Come on. Let's not talk nonsense.
We'd won this holiday, weekend away, without the kids, a posh hotel.
I get you,
Jackie.
Jackie.
For dinner.
Yeah.
I got this sexy little number to put on. I opened my suitcase, and there wasn't a bit of underwear in there. None of my underwear at all.
Okay.
Nothing.
Yep.
And I thought I could go commando, but it put people off their prawn cocktails. So my husband threw me a pair of his underpants, Y-fronts. I don't know if you've ever seen a pair of Y-fronts. They're not really fashionable now, but they're horrible, stringy things, right?
Yes.
So they're heavy. I had to clamp my elbows onto my hips to walk into the restaurant to stop them falling down.
Which is lovely for a romantic weekend, isn't it? Just the idea of you kind of walking in like that.
That's it. Yep. That's exactly what I look like. Not a good look at all. And I got up after the meal, lots of wine, totally forgot. 3 steps away from the thing, they crashed to the floor like that. Awful. Absolutely embarrassing. I wanted it to be romantic, lovely little floaty dress on, and these Y-fronts are like a block of concrete round the ankle.
That is terrific. And did you, Jackie? I'm picturing the scene. You're in the restaurant. The Y-fronts have fallen down. Yeah. Do you sort of do that thing with? I'm imagining a high heel. Do you flick them and catch them on your head? Which very often a man will do if the pants are on the floor. There'll be men in here that can attest. You get your pants, you're like, hui, hui. And then you put them back on. What did you do, Jackie?
I just kept walking.
Okay, fine, just ignore them. You went for what's known in the game as the Estelle approach, like that. Fuck it, I'm gone. What I would say, Jackie, it's a lot easier for a lady to pop on Y-fronts than it is for a man to wear, for example, a G-string. Do you know what I mean? Like, if your husband had been wearing one of those.
Oh, no.
Yeah, do you know what I mean?
No, he was a big bloke. It was,
no. What did you, hang on, what did you say? Like a strung up what? Like a strung up... Jackie, somebody from the audience here wants to know, would your husband's cock and balls have looked like a strung up ham? It's the first time I wasn't anticipating answering that, but there's a young lady in the crowd who needs to know, Jackie.
He looked like a bag of Satsumis.
There you go. A bag of Satsumis. Right, Anita, tell me a holiday that you'd never forget.
Oh, well, it was my first holiday. I was about 8 or 9.
Yep.
And it was my auntie and uncle, they took me, and we were having a pool day.
Lovely.
So rather than keep slathering on the old Factor 50, my auntie went and got me an oversized T-shirt to stop me getting burnt.
Yep, sensible.
And Ghostbusters. And she bought it in a hurry, and she thought it said Ghostbusters in Spanish.
Right.
Yeah. After about an hour, thinking I was looking pretty cool in my Ghostbusters T-shirt, turns out it actually said drunken bastard.
Wow.
Yeah.
So there's an 8-year-old girl going around with a T-shirt that says drunken bastard on it. And presumably there were sort of teenage boys going, we're definitely not going to get ID'd. That 9-year-old shit-faced is going to be fine. When did she realise?
It must have been about an hour or so, because I think the sangria had started to wear off.
Yeah.
She was, like, looking. On her face, it was like, that doesn't say no. Yeah.
That's fantastic. Let's see who else. Johnny, tell me about your holidays. Have you had one that's gone badly?
Yeah, terrible.
Oh, really?
So about 15 years ago, I was working in Greece, and basically I got drunk throughout the whole day, and then decided that I'll do a spot of basically fish spotting. So I ended up getting a transparent lilo, went into the sea, face down, fell asleep, and then I woke up to a passenger ferry that was honking me, and I couldn't see the beach. Basically, all of the crew come to the deck and said, "What the hell are you doing?" Pointed to a pedalo, which was in the distance. I swam over to the pedalo. They were in more of a pickle than what I was. They were more drunk and German. They basically took me all the way back to the beach for me to realise the current took me 2 hours away. And then I had no phone, no shoes, no wallet, and I had to struggle to try and get back to where I was.
Wow, and the interesting thing is, well, you probably swam out to sea naked and you left your T-shirt that said drunken bastard on the beach, and a small child went, I'm fucking having that. Holy...
It wasn't ideal.
So did you all travel back together on the pedalo?
Yeah, it was like a tugboat pulling me back.
Wow. You could have died.
Yeah, I know, it wasn't ideal. It's not an ideal situation, is it?
What were you doing? What were you like? How? I mean, I've never got to that level of drunk on holiday where I'm like, I need to know more about marine life. Like, someone's got to fucking find Nemo, and it needs to be me.
I was drinking from the night before, basically, and
wow.
it didn't end very well.
Did you see any fish?
I can't remember. I was shit-faced.
Okay. Good answer. Maria, tell me about your holiday.
Hello there.
Hello.
Hello. So this happened, it was my first holiday in sunny Faliraki.
Nice.
Lovely.
Yes.
I was sipping Sex on the Beach cocktail.
Yeah.
And then I saw this lovely Greek guy come up to me, walk towards me, and I thought, okay, let's hear it. I noticed that he wasn't really looking at my face or my upper body, but he was looking at my feet, so I thought, he must be a quite shy guy.
Yeah.
So let me hear what you've got to say. Until he said, you've got beautiful feet. Can I suck your toes? That was the shut-up line.
Now, in some respects, you have to admire the honesty, Maria, of this pervert just wandering along. No hello. Just can I suck your feet? Do you know what I mean? Because otherwise I'm going to spend an hour building up to this. Might as well just ask you now. And you're like, no, brilliant. Yep. And then he's like, excuse you, can I suck your feet? I'm just trying to make my day go quicker. How about you? Can I? You'll do it. Fantastic. Sorry to bother the rest of you. Nom, nom, nom. Wow. And do you think, I don't want to get personal, Maria, but do you think particularly alluring feet? Have you kind of got, like, you know, kind of... Because most women don't, if we're honest. Most women, you know, I'm going to be controversial here, beautiful, hideous feet. You're like pigeons, aren't you? They're very often hairy, which is baffling to all of us. You know, very fine, thin hairs that you could brush if you had a tiny doll's hairbrush. Or do you have, like, nice feet?
They're definitely not suckable.
They're not suckable. See, now I want to see them. And the problem with that's playing into his hands, because he's probably sat there going, fucking get him out, get him out. I won't make you show your feet.
I described my feet, my toes are like ginger.
Oh. Do you know what was so weird about that, Maria? That the ginger appeared, and then there was a glitch, and suddenly there was no ginger. And we were all like, fucking hell. Like, you were like some sort of chef wizard. They were like, that ginger gone. Fucking hell. There's such fantastic stories. Maybe in 2021, we'll be able to go out there and experience the world again. Thank you so much for being on the show. That was absolutely fantastic. Thanks very much. Well done. Brilliant. Oh. Shortly after the break, I'm going to be asking your questions to the one and only Brian Blessed. Welcome back. It's time for the part of the show where I book the guest and you ask the questions. This week, I was joined by Britain's loudest national treasure, Brian Blessed. And what a treat it was. Brian Blessed is one of the country's most celebrated actors, starring in everything from Shakespeare to sci-fi.
Gordon's alive!
He's also an adventurer who's climbed Mount Everest multiple times, became the oldest man to walk to the North Pole, and he's even completed space training for his next planned trip. So, we have our guest here tonight, the fantastic Brian Blessed. Brian, thank you so much for coming on the show.
Well, it's marvellous being on the show. It's nice to see you again. Oh, these are extraordinary times for us, aren't they?
How are you coping?
Well, I'm very much the kind of king of the voiceovers at the moment. So
really?
My voice is my saviour, you know.
OK, Brian, if we start with the questions, the first question I have for you is, do you sing in the shower? And if so, what do you sing?
It was interesting on Stars in Their Eyes. I agreed to be Pavarotti.
Right.
You know, and when they made me up and put the black wig on and things and black my beard, and I came on in the midst, and the audience applauded, that I looked so just like him. And then you could see the audience all cheering and clapping, and then it stopped clapping because they thought, well, he looks like him, but he'll never sound like him. The shock in their faces when I just went, cielo che bello in me, oh sole mio, stai da fronte a te, stai da fronte a te. And the audience was stunned, and I wanted
Of course. There's something about that song as well. It just evokes World Cup 90.
Yes.
You know, and you sort of like Roberto Baggio. Ugh. Next question. Why are you so relentlessly positive?
Well, I have, from being a baby, a child, I have a great love of life.
Yes.
I absolutely adore life. I can't wait for the day to start. I can't wait for the sun to come up. And I enjoy being with people. I love gardening. I've got a huge garden that I do a massive amount of that would Monty Don would love to see. I all that. And so I just love life. I love adventure. I can't wait to get back to Mount Everest. I can't wait to go to space. People say to me, Brian, is it not dangerous going on my adventures? And I've always said, well, the greatest danger in life is not taking the adventure. That's the great danger.
Wow.
I've been lucky to meet people like the Dalai Lama, who's my age. I was in love with the Dalai Lama because he blessed me for Everest. Of course, everyone asks him about reincarnation, but I asked him about his sex life. Did you do with sex?
Yeah.
He went, whoa! No one asked me questions like that. He said, yes, sometimes, you know, Brian, I think of a beautiful woman. And then he said, I do my mantras louder, and then I take a cold shower. And it has a very good effect on me. But I often miss beautiful women.
Now, let's have a look at a video question.
He famously punched a polar bear in the face. But what human being or person would you personally punch in the face?
I mean, but I did punch a polar bear. It was we're going to the magnetic North Pole, and we're pursued by polar bears, and they tore into the tent this big female, and because they wanted to shoot it, we had to have gun. I said, nobody shoots anything here. We don't kill anything. And this is its land, and this polar bear did stick its head through, and it's very dangerous. They can kill you in a second. And I just roared with my huge voice and punched it on the nose. And it ran away. And I saved its life, thank God. But who would I punch in the face? Anyone who abuses animals.
Yeah.
I would punch them in the face unreservedly. And I can hit like Rocky Marciano still.
I bet.
I was Yorkshire Schoolboy boxing champion. Any bugger who is cruel to animals, I would on the spot bash.
Absolutely. Ugh. Now, I've got a question here from Daniel Jacks who says, can you ask Brian if the climbing Mount Everest taking a poo story is true?
Mountaineers are the dirtiest, filthiest buggers that have ever lived. I mean, I'll tell you, you're up 25, 28, 30, 40 days on Mount Everest. You can't change your underwear, you can't change your clothes. So we ascended at one point and we got to 23,000 feet on the Lunacy face. And the weather conditions were terrible. And we are 4 of us in a 2-man tent. And we're holding on to the ice with our crampons and things to hold the tent there. And it's shaky, it's going to come off. Now, if that tent came off at that point and all that wind, you would fall 5, 6, 7 miles down the Lunacy face. You'd never be seen again. You'd be torn to shreds. And suddenly Jenkins said, you know, I've got to have a shit. And I said, you can't have a shit, you can't. If you go that tent, you'll be dead. I said, if you shit yourself within half an hour, it'll become powder because at altitude, your shit goes to powder. And he insisted, I can't, I'm a gentleman. Oh, so we edged him out towards the exit. We tied him off and let him out onto the Lunacy face at 3 o'clock in the morning with winds of 85 miles an hour. We thought the tent's going to fall off the face any minute. We're all going to be killed. And then gradually we heard his voice, "Can I come in?" And he'd had a shit, and he came into the tent, and we come on, pass him through. And then suddenly, there's a terrible smell of shit. And I turned round, and there was a Turk on Jenkins' shoulder. What had happened was, he had a shit out there, the wind had caught it and taken it up in the air. Then there'd been a lull in the wind, and then it had dropped on his shoulder. Wow. That's the magic of Mount Everest.
I've got a question here from John Chadwick, who says, I heard you met the artist Picasso. Can you tell us about that?
Well, this sounds as if I'm kind of crude and thick as pig shit. The thing is, when the war was over, the whole of Britain celebrated that there'd been no more wars. And there was a World Peace Congress. Everybody in thousands, 350,000 people took tents in Woolsborough Park near Sheffield. Yeah. Paul Robeson, the wonderful singer, was there, and there was Picasso. And he was painting different things for peace and doves of peace. And I didn't believe he was. I was only 11 years of age, only a little lad. And I made my way through the crowds, got in front of all the lads, and I was in front of Picasso. And I said, they say, "You're Picasso." You got a Yorkshire accent. Yeah, they tell me you're Picasso. You sound more like Carmen Miranda to me. You don't sound like Picasso. He said, this is the way I speak. It's the way I speak. I said, if you're Picasso, draw me something. And he drew a dove of peace. And it looked bloody awful. and I said, it shows you're not Picasso. This is not a dove. I'll draw you a dove. And I drew him a dove and I gave it to him. And he said, it's the first time I have a critic to the child. My drawing of the dove of peace. And so he offered it to me. And I said, I don't want it. You're not Picasso. And I turned it down. And he accepted my dove instead. I was only 11. And anyway, you can see that dove. It's in the Sheffield Gallery, and it's valued at £57 million. Wow. My father wouldn't talk to me for weeks. He said, you bloody turned down this drawing by Picasso. I said, I didn't think he was Picasso. He didn't sound like Picasso.
What an amazing story that is. Jesus. And do you ever think about that? Are you ever like, I threw away 57 million?
Yeah, I was only a child, wasn't it?
Yeah.
But I still thought it was crap.
Now, what would Brian say if he met Donald Trump?
I would dwarf him emotionally and dwarf him with my voice, because I have 50 times the power of his voice. But I would like to go for a quiet walk in a garden with him and have a quiet chat with him till the mask drops off. Because what we see is not him. He does come over as a complete ghoul and a clown. America is full of wonderful, sophisticated people. So it's astonishing to me that America should have a president who is such a cretin. He's particularly rude to women. Women are my religion. Young people and women are my religion. 99% of what I've ever learned in life, I've learned from women.
Talking about women, we've got a question here from Norden who wants to know, what's the best advice you've been given?
To honour and revere talent, never to be jealous of it, but to admire people's talent and gifts. I was told early on, and I've always held it in my mind, and I say it to audiences, that there is no one like you, Elton. That's my thing. That nature doesn't cheat. We've all got something that nobody else has got. And you've got to be allowed the chance to develop it and bring it, fulfill your dreams, and don't let the bastards grind you down.
I love that. I think that's so wise. This is the last video question.
Oh, hello.
Hello, Brian.
Nice
Big
face.
fan. You want to go to the moon. What would you do if you ever met an alien?
Now, what I love most about that is that was my mum. And
what?
Yeah. And when she first came on screen, you went, nice face. And she will be absolutely delighted with that.
Thank you. But what would I say to an alien?
Yeah.
I would be overawed. I'd be thrilled. I would sit quietly. I can make a lot of noise. But I'm only noisy when I choose to be. I actually adore stillness. I love deserts when they're still, like great mountains when they're still. And I would just be in awe if I did come across an alien, be kind and loving and humble to it.
Oh, what a magnificent interview. Brian, I could talk to you for hours. There is a spirit and an energy that radiates off you, that if an alien met you, that alien would go, I've met the most incredible creature. I love talking to you, mate.
Thank you. I've enjoyed myself enormously.
Have a wonderful evening. Take care,
And
Brian.
you too. Everybody have a lovely evening.
Wonderful. Thanks, Brian.
Bye, everybody.
I love him. He wants to shag my mum and he punched a polar bear. Now, finally tonight is Good Deeds and an amazing rapper who's been making music accessible for everyone.
Hi, I'm Mark and I started Kid Menace Studios. We offer a studio space to connect disabled artists with the music industry. I was born with spina bifida. It's a problem when you're in the womb, part of your vertebrae doesn't form properly. I've always been in the wheelchair since I was 4 years old. I've had 31 operations altogether. I struggled a lot with depression when I was about 10. I didn't understand it. I spent a lot of time in hospital beds and bedbound kind of thing, and music was my escape almost. But when I found rap and hip-hop, that was literally, I felt like I found my thing. I started writing lyrics when I was 15. I had a bog standard set up in a home recording studio in my bedroom, and then got from there to releasing music myself. I needed a name, and Crazy Legs just seemed right. It's very rare that I come across a venue that is properly accessible. So I just wanted a space where I could create and bring everyone together and support other disabled artists, because when I was starting out and things, there was literally nothing.
I have always been a big fan of music and love going to big rave nights at clubs and festivals. I have cerebral palsy, resulting in my muscles not working properly. Playing on the DJ decks, often there are steps up to the staged platform. My 18-stone wheelchair can't get up there, and I have to stay down low, and people just don't get it that I'm the DJ. This is the first recording studio that I've been invited to learn the skills to produce music as well as play live streams. It's great because Mark has an understanding of the challenges faced in the music industry and helped guide me in my career.
Michael Evis from Glastonbury Festival kindly come and officially opened it for us. We've got support from Boomtown Festival as well, and they've always done a lot for disabled artists.
I think a lot of big festivals feel that they just can't cater for disabled artists, and I think it's important for us to show that that's nonsense. Of course you can. So we're trying to do our best to make sure that no one feels that they can't engage with the fun. The main thing that the music industry can do to kind of make sure that disabled artists are included is don't ignore them. You know, just keep an eye out.
It's Crazy Legs. We're in the crazy calamities right now.
Last year, Boomtown let me open the Scrapyard stage, which is one of the main drum and bass stages, which was the biggest crowd I've played to. And the feeling I had there, that buzz, that's what I'm trying to give to people like Scotty. I feel like disabled artists are almost seen like a novelty act initially, but when people realise there's actually a talent there, it's twice as impressive. Now we've got the base, this is a foundation to build on. I just want to keep growing and growing.
Thanks so much for watching the show. Good night, my friends. Good night.